when that book came out, it was so impactful. I remember reading it. I'm thinking, whoa, this is real. And this is what we as women are dealing with, right? And if we can't lift each other up, that's a problem.
You're listening to the More Than a Young Professional podcast, the podcast at the intersection of your career, personal life, health, and community, because we're more than just young professionals. Welcome to More Than a Young Professional podcast. I'm Meg Rich.
I'm Meg Burke.
And I'm Potomski.
We have a new voice and a new person. So if you saw our episode last week, we are now doing video. So it's my first time on video. Y'all, I like to hide behind a microphone.
I know.
So if I just pull back, I'm just trying to hide behind a microphone. It's fine. So new format, new voice.
Excited to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Hong, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got to where you are now?
Sure. Wow. That's a loaded question, Meg, but I'll start somewhere. So grew up here in Pensacola. Just to give you guys a little flavor, which I know you guys know, but this is for the listeners.
I love it.
So I was born in Hong Kong. My parents, I'm Vietnamese, so my parents came from Vietnam and escaped Vietnam to Hong Kong after the Vietnam War. And a year later, I was born in Hong Kong. 2 weeks later, we ended up in Chicago in the States. And then 6 months later, we ended up here in Pensacola. And this is where we call home. This community has been so great to us and has helped my family, my parents build a foundation for me and my brother. And so it's been a fun ride. And since then I've went away for college to Orlando to UCF, came back, decided to come back to Pensacola. Didn't think I wanted to come back, but after moving away for a couple of years, I was like, man, home is home, right? And so after coming back here, jumped back into the community, wanted to get plugged in, and here I am, I don't know 5 years later with PYP, or maybe 8 years. I don't know what the number is now.
We're not going to discuss.
I know we should not, right? It's like we're probably
us.
close to that time, that age range of you guys are out. But anyway, so it's been a fun ride with my family in this community, and then also my career.
Because you've been very successful in your career. Because I have looked up to you for since the time I met you, and just I love to see you grow. So kind of tell us your progression about that.
Yeah, so as I came back and started both of my master's program at UWF, and through that through the program there, I met some folks at Baptist Healthcare. And that allowed me to open up the door for me to join a team within the organization. So I started off as office coordinator / secretary at the time, you guys. I can't believe I'm thinking back.
No kidding. See,
Yes.
I don't even know you back then.
Yeah. This is, secretary, office coordinator role, pushing paper, answering phones. That time there was a fax machine. I don't know if I should even say that, but there was. We didn't use it often, but it was there. And that really kicked off my career, I guess my journey, right, within healthcare, and then within also PYP. Mm-hmm. And so meeting some folks at UWF, I got the job and really got, really entrenched into healthcare, learned the ropes from my background as data analytics and research. I think a few years after that, I got involved with PYP. I think I started off as a volunteer on the quality of life team, if that's what you guys still call it, and realized wow, this is an opportunity to really learn more about the community. I grew up in this community, you guys. And thought I knew everything, right? Thought I knew the community. But after just going to a few meetings with Quality of Life team, I realized there's more to this community than just what I knew, right? From my own bubble. And so, I got plugged in there, volunteered at numerous, events. And then that just started my journey within PYP. And that was a journey going from Quality of Life team chair to, gosh, I can't even think back to what my next role was after that. But got on the board, maybe secretary at the time. I should know this, but oh my gosh, I can't remember. But the journey, right? So I went from volunteer to then president, and man, that was a fun ride. Because I think about it now, and I think about my career and where I'm at, and I'm like, wow, PYP was so impactful.
Absolutely.
It opened up so many doors from a relationship standpoint. I mean, you guys, I don't know
Yeah.
if I would have ever met y'all,
Yeah.
you know, and we've crossed paths so many times, you know, so many times throughout the years and great times, you know. But man, PYP was so instrumental in my career, and I know it. So I'm so glad to be back here sitting with y'all.
Yeah.
Me too.
And it's special for both Meg and I as well, because we came in, you were president, and we were just getting on the board at that time. We've been in leadership with you as you were president-elect, and then when you became president, we were just stepping into kind of that VP role. And so we looked to you for a lot of things. And so
I don't know if I knew that, but
but just the strength that you showed, the professionalism that you showed, it taught us how to do those things. And to, you set a great example for us. And I attribute PYP with my success, because I would not have the job that I have now if it were not for the relationships that I had in PYP. And I would not be where I am in my professional career without learning at that early age.
Yeah.
I say early age, but I'm a late bloomer, y'all. But learning that professionalism, you know, how to craft a firm email. I just had to do it a couple of nights ago, and just to hold somebody accountable, how to do it firm, but respectfully and professionally to get your point across. And I attribute that a lot to just the relationship that you and I had, and letting me fail and letting me make those mistakes.
This is so emotional. Man, yeah, it's so real, right? Like it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think back to our times together with PYP, and y'all know we had some Duke out times.
Oh, yeah.
Not us, right? But just in general.
Yeah.
Because as we going through PYP and trying to figure out what is PYP and where are we going, what's our vision, and all these things, you have so many opinions. And it's like, how do you bring everyone together?
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, we knew that at least when PYP then was to bring to one, open up opportunities for young professionals in our community. And we wanted a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And not just a seat, but a real seat where we get to lean in,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And make an impact and influence what's happening in the community. And I think that's where we're at now with the organization. And it's been, thankfully, or we can thank our founders of PYP, but the journey has been great for all that's been involved and has left an imprint on the organization.
Absolutely. So one of the things that you imprinted into me, because I distinctly remember sitting in my interview to become, I think, VP of Professional Development or Ambassador Chair or something, and you asked me my vision for PYP, and I said, I want to link our age group, PYP members, with leaders in the community, and I want to bring about a formal mentoring process. And I remember you looked me dead in the face and goes, if you get this position, will you do it? And I looked you dead in the face and I said, absolutely. And then it was a couple of days later and you said, all right, let's get to work.
Yeah.
And
I remember. Man. Yeah. Yes, oh my gosh, I remember this conversation, and then I remember the effort and the time, the energy you put in as a leader to make it happen. Yeah, because there's a brand new, I guess, program
absolutely,
that we started as an organization. And the best part with all of that, obviously, is from the beginning to how we developed it, and but the relationships that were built from that first round.
Oh yeah,
I mean, a cohort, right?
They're still mentor-mentee relationships that still meet.
Yeah.
And that was in 2015.
Yeah,
2014. So,
and it's more than that now, right? There's some of them are family, friends that are like family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
business
that just
partners.
So that just goes to show the power of what the organization can do, and also programs like Mentor Pensacola.
Yeah. So just to catch some people up, you guys started Mentor Pensacola. We talked last week about Mentor Pensacola as it is now. It took a couple years hiatus because we realized we needed dedicated people like you guys. And when you guys weren't there to run the program, we were kind of, up a creek without a paddle. But
there's a season for everything, and it comes back.
It's
just like bell bottoms, and thankfully those are gone.
Barely.
Yeah, I know. Now it's like mom jeans or something like that.
But you guys were the genesis of that program, and it was funny because we came in this year. I will say that like when I came in as president, I was like, we need to bring that program back. And then I was past president. I was like, we need to bring that program back. And then I was not on the board. And then I got pulled back on the board as VP of marketing. And I was like, we need to bring that program back. And we just didn't have the right people. We've learned a lot, especially this year. We need the right people in place with the right passions to want to do this. And finally have those people in place. And they were, we were trying to find old documents. I was like, Meg, what do you have on your drive? Like who's got information? I was part of the program. And I lived with you at the time. Right. I barely know how the program functioned. And they were like finding old news articles.
Oh, wow.
Like,
really?
And I'm like, this is what we think the program is. I was like, that sounds about right. Let's go. Yeah. And so you guys have created something though that has this has stood the test of time over a couple year hiatus.
Yeah.
And like we were saying last week, there's 50 people in the mentor program this year.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that many.
Amazing. Yeah. So I applaud you. I'm grateful to you because I also got a mentor this year too. So thank you guys for all the work that you put in a number of years ago. I would say like PYP, you guys definitely both left your mark on PYP, and I'm glad to call you friends.
I'm glad it's a positive.
It's a good mark. It's a good mark.
So Hong, you put faith in me to create this program, but can you talk a little bit about why mentoring is so important to you? Because you've been a mentor in the Mentor Pensacola program. You're a mentor through Big Brothers Big Sisters. You've sat on that board. It's ingrained in you. Yeah. But why is it important?
Yeah. Whoa. Well, going back to my family. So growing up with my parents, English to them is their second language, right? Also mine. I grew up speaking Vietnamese many years before I started speaking English. And they knew what they knew in their bubble, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had to figure out a lot of things growing up in, elementary, middle, high school. I say really me and others that helped me work and navigate through all of that, right? Yeah. And in high school, it's like, what's the ACT? My mom never took the ACT. My dad never took the ACT. Heck, I don't. I think back to them being in Vietnam. They might have made it into first or second, maybe grade, So I think back to that, and when throughout my journey, my career, whether it was personal or professional, is all the people that touched me throughout my life, right? And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Right. If it wasn't for you guys and the conversations we've had through those years and years to come, I wouldn't be here in where I'm at in my career or even personally. Yeah. And so when I think about mentorship, it's just so critical. The tidbit that you learn from other people with diverse backgrounds, right? When you think about your circle is having diverse. When I say diverse, not just ethnicity, but age and background and industries that they work in. So I go back to my roots of in the years where as I was, becoming a young professional. I still consider myself that now. But it just took, I couldn't have done it alone. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's just true.
Yeah. Because, and I think that, mentoring is part being able to go to somebody in a kind of a judgment-free zone. Yeah. And to be able to ask questions that you don't feel like you can ask anybody else, and to have that person invest in you enough to give you an answer, an honest answer. Sometimes it's not the answer that you want, and sometimes it's a really hard answer to hear. Yeah. But at the same time, one of the things that you did for me is you opened doors, and you introduced me to people, and I remember you tagged me to sit on a nonprofit board, and I didn't think twice about it. I was like, of course, Hong has chosen me to do this.
We have discovered today the blind faith we have in each other. We asked Hong to come on this, and she didn't know what we were doing, and she said, yeah, sure, no problem. Didn't ask questions, nothing. Nope. And the same thing has happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think, with that, it goes back to having that genuine care for each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the trust. I think that's so critical. And I don't know. I think one of the questions you guys sent me was it takes that when it comes to mentorship, right? Yeah. That real, genuine relationship where you can have those conversations. Because if you start off with a transactional deal, I mean, why are we here?
Right.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah, we've had many glasses of wine together.
Yes. Whatever it takes, Hey,
I mean, I'm down. So let's not get offended by this, but I am down for a glass of wine. Yeah. So what are the ways that you have given back, and what is one that stuck out in your brain?
Whoa. I mean, as far as mentorship, I've mentored, I guess, guide in numerous areas of my life, right? And I was a big sister for Big Brother's Big Sister for about 8 years, and was able to see her journey. And my hope for her was to graduate high school, right? To at least break that cycle because her mom didn't. And it was just baby steps. And when I look back to that and her experience, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Not only for her, but it was also a great moment for me, right? It humbles you, or humbled me to see that and to see it in others' eyes. Yeah. But the best part is, y'all just sitting here, be able to now just connect with y'all and catch up, right? Is seeing how far all of you guys, my friends, and that we've, I'm not going to say mentor, but just had some real conversations about where do we go from A to Z, whether it's our career or professional life in the community from a networking standpoint, and so it's, for me, it's just so powerful to see where where you guys are at. Yeah. Congratulations to you, man.
Thank you.
That's exciting. Your new role with the organization.
We actually haven't recorded.
That's so true.
Since I got my promotion. So yeah. Little tidbit for our listeners. Hey.
You've got a great job.
Hey, this is what happened when you're a PYP member. You get involved.
It really is. It really is. So you also do, I would consider it peer mentoring. So you are part of a lean-in group. Yeah. And you have been part of that lean-in group. Oh my gosh.
No, you posted about it the other day. I was like, your lean-in group is like the model.
It really is.
It always was.
They're amazing.
It really is.
God.
Because you introduced that to Pensacola, basically. Yeah. Your group introduced lean-in and the concept of leaning in to Pensacola. So can you talk a little bit about what peer mentoring is? I feel like a lot of people don't realize that is a form of mentoring.
Yeah. I think it could be scary, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have the right person or genuine interest in being at the table together. Yeah. Because, woman to women, you got to be on the same page, or woman to man or whatever. But I'm going to say women to women because you brought up Lean In. Yeah. When that book came out, it was so impactful. I remember reading it. I'm thinking, whoa, this is real, and this is what we as women are dealing with, right? And if we can't lift each other up, that's a problem. And so in that capacity, when we launched that, and really it was, selfishly for me and Megan McCarthy, it was let's bring some women together with not the same interests, but same mindset, right? But from different backgrounds, different ages. And at that time, I think the oldest was in her 20s, or the youngest was 20s, and the oldest was maybe 60-ish, 70-ish. Yeah. And I won't say where we're at now in our range, but that was at the time. And y'all, it's been such an amazing journey to have that group of women to talk about life things, all sorts of life things, to our careers and how we navigate XYZ things. And I think sometimes when we think about peer, it's like, okay, it has to be someone my age, right? Really, it's almost an age thing when I think about peer, but it's more than that. It's finding people with not the same mindset, but genuine interest in each other.
Yeah, similar motivation.
Yeah, similar motivation, right? We don't have to like the same thing or whatever.
You just all want to be better.
Yeah, be better and just help each other grow too. Wine helps. But if you don't drink, it's okay. Tea helps too, Whatever your jam is.
Coffee, water, kombucha.
Right. Yeah, whatever. Well, and then also like not having a no judgment zone.
Yeah.
I think that's so critical. And And I feel like the world has, sometimes I feel like we're 2 steps back, but we also got to think about all the good, right? The people that really do care.
Absolutely.
Are there. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And having somebody there to remind you that you're not alone, and regardless of where you are, it's okay to be there for a minute.
yeah,
And you don't have to always be progressing. You can just
take a break.
take a break,
Yeah, take a breather.
sit down.
Yeah,
You
self-care.
you don't always have to be
Wow.
leaning fully in. You can sometimes lean back and take a seat.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you got to lean back and take a seat and take a breather in order to lean in even
Absolutely.
more, right? And I've learned that, over the last few years as I've grown in my career, is I have to take a breather. And you guys know this. I'm a super workaholic. On top of that, I'm pretty, passionate, intense, whatever you want to call it. Some people call me firecracker, whatever. I'll take it, But I've had to step back and take a breather.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we've talked about mentor relationships that are good.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for us, or any times where you've had a mentor relationship and you've really wanted it to make it work and it just didn't?
I guess I'll speak to like just relationships in general, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I've gotten to the point now, at least, is if it's not right for you, leave it. Leave it at the door. Close the door.
Amen.
Open another door. You know what I mean? Like why force yourself to
Right.
be in that position, whether it's a mentor or a friend or whatever? And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but man, you got to do you first.
Absolutely.
Because that's just the reality of it. And find the circle that you want and need, and that also they want to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't keep in your heart what doesn't serve you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
As much as you want to, sometimes you got to let go.
yeah.
We're real bad. Yeah, I think we're all.
I know. It's like, okay, are
Sorry,
we
I
talking
just got-
professional or personal now, right?
Porque no los dos.
I don't know. I know nothing.
So, in your opinion, because I consider you an expert mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know about
like-
that.
You
but
are definitely my resident expert in mentoring. Like anytime we talk about mentoring, I'm like Hong. Where's
Right.
Hong? Call Hong.
Yes, please.
I don't know about an expert. I have experience to a certain extent, my own, and obviously in my connections with others,
It's
and
true.
you just keep on growing. You know.
Yeah. So, is there a right way to mentor?
I don't know if there's a right way. I think you figure it out as you go. What fits, what works, keep on going, and what doesn't, pivot.
Yeah.
And it's just that.
Do you have advice for somebody who might? So most of what who we talk to are in the lower. They're just entering emerging leaders, we call them. But what we've learned a lot in the last couple of years is that the PYP and a lot of the young professional programs around the country, we have these. It's almost this divide of these emerging leaders, and then these. I forget what we call them, but like we're not geriatric millennials, but
Oh
we
my
are
gosh.
like we are in the
Seasoned
millennials and
Experienced.
seasoned
Early careerists,
professionals.
young professionals.
We're on the
young.
upper side of things, and maybe now is the time when we want to start mentoring others. Do you have advice for somebody who maybe has never been a mentor before, kind of wants to be? How do they become a mentor? Where do they start? Because you are very involved in a lot of mentor programs, but maybe there's a good place to start and how to do it successfully.
Yeah. First off, just I guess philosophically or whatever you want to call it, but just don't be afraid to jump in.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of organizations in our community that provides that opportunity for you to sharpen that skill if that's what you want to do, like Big Brothers Big Sisters, right, or PYP. But it also doesn't have to be a formal program, right?
right.
Whether it's you and your program at UWF and you have colleagues and friends that need help, and you can do it.
Yeah.
So mentorship, I think, could be define in so many ways. It doesn't have to be formal. But if you will need that formality or want that formality, I think reach out and learn about what programs we have in the community and ask.
Yeah.
You know, ask questions, hey, or just say, I want to do this. And someone, you know, I'm sure will say, hey, come on. Yeah. You know, because we have lots of programs around this community that need more help.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's true. And I know Big Brothers Big Sisters is always looking.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially men, right?
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Big Brothers Big Sister. I mean, I think back to Junior Achievement when I was involved in that. Yeah. That might not be a long-term you know, commitment, but they're teaching kids about financials and, you know, so there's so many different opportunities. It just looks, you know, different. There are different ways to do it.
That's
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, Junior Achievement, like you said, is not really long. I mean, Big Brothers Big Sisters is pretty long.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say it's a commitment, but it's a commitment. Yeah. You have this kid who is looking to you because they may not have, they're missing something in their life. And so they need somebody else there to care for them.
Yeah.
Or care about them.
Right.
And
right.
so, but Junior Achievement really is, you know, you go in and you teach a class.
Yeah.
And you model for them what they could be.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have, it could be.
It could be. It could be. And, you know, as part of that is also your ability to commit, right? Depending on whether it's Big Brothers Big Sister, Junior Achievement, or, you know, whatever it looks like. And that's something that I've had to do and assess and say, do I have the time? Do I have the ability to do it? Because you don't want to commit to something
exactly
that has more time, that takes more time to do, and not be able to do it, right?
Right.
And I say that only because when you're in a program like Big Brothers Big Sister, you're committed to another person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They depend on you to show up.
Right. Right. So if you're going to commit, be ready to show up.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, I like it. I don't know. I could talk to Hong all day.
I know.
So I'm trying to
I could talk to you guys all day.
I know.
I'm trying to edit myself because Justin's behind the camera right now, and he's probably like, y'all can't go over this time.
And it's Friday night, so you know he's probably tired of what
it is Friday night.
Well, I was going to say, kind of instead of key takeaways, maybe do you have some advice for your younger self?
Oh my gosh.
What would you have done differently, or wish you knew when you were just getting in, when you first started out at Baptist? And,
oh my gosh,
that not that long ago at all.
Not that long. Just yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would say be resilient, stay the course, be yourself, show up every day.
Yeah.
And when you can't show up or feel like you can't show up, then take a break. Mm-hmm. So then you can show up when you need to show up.
Yeah.
There's also, part of me where it's like, it's okay to say no. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's okay to say no. And I've experienced that to where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to say no. But when I said it, I'm like, oh, it just, it was a weight off my shoulders. And the person understood.
Yeah.
But it's being real, right? And people appreciate that more than just committing and I'm going to say half-assing it.
Yeah.
So I know that sounds hardcore, but I would say be resilient, have grit, whatever grit is to you, define it yourself, right? Don't let others define that for you. But stay the course. And if you haven't, and I know you guys have heard this, the grit, oh my gosh, I can't think of the title.
Angela Duckworth.
Yeah, Angela Duckworth's Grit TED Talk, if you haven't seen it.
And book. She has a book now, too, doesn't she?
Yeah. But I love the TED Talk because, girl, I can't commit to a book.
I ain't got time for that.
Check it out.
Oh, that's good.
No. All right. So I have a question that I think that our listeners would really like to know. What is the secret to your success? Because you've gone from being a secretary up to a senior director now.
Yep.
That I'm always in awe at how you just trudge through and get stuff done, and you're rewarded for it, and very much deserved reward for it.
You.
But, what's your secret?
Whoa. Meg, that's a loaded question. And I don't even know if it's a secret, but it's more so for me, it's consistency, right? Consistency, being methodical. Over the last, 5 years ish of my career is also knowing that, again, going back to like stepping back when you need to step back. Consistency, methodical, and that because that's just how I am. But also being resilient, and believe in yourself. Know your worth, man. You know what I mean? Know your worth and bring it to the table every day when you need to bring it. And that's just what I've done. I don't have the secrets to it. I figure, it's just, I'm still working on it. Yeah. I'm still working on it.
I do have to say that before I got my promotion, I walked into my new boss's office and I said, I'm doing this work. This is in the job description for what I'm supposed to be doing. This is also in the job description of the title that I don't have that I want.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to prove to you that I am worthy of that title?
Yeah.
And I did. He told me what I needed and I did it. And he called me and said, hey.
Right. You got to know your
Guess
worth.
what?
You got to be able to have courage to have that conversation,
Exactly.
and I know that there were times in my career where I was like, obviously it's like you got to, I'm going to say put in the time. I don't know if that's the right term, but grow your skill set, right? And as you think through, I'm going to go back to the Lean In book. There's a chapter in there that speaks to the jungle gym effect. At one point in my career, I thought I wanted this like defined game plan, and I no longer have that defined game plan, but is thinking through your skill set and saying, what do I have now that I can continue to sharpen? What do I don't have that I need to work on or learn? Because the work environment is changing, and
Absolutely.
whether it's you as an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, figure out what those skill sets are and go for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have the secret sauce. I just one day at a time, figure it out and drink wine when I need to.
Yeah. Very true.
That makes sense.
So let's say somebody has somebody in mind and they say, I want that person to be my mentor.
Make the ask.
Oof, you got to before I could ask the question.
Hey, we've known each other for a long
We
time.
have.
I know where you're going with it. Don't be afraid to make that ask. And maybe, frame it in a way where you want to learn. Be genuine about it, right? Like, let's not just make it a tactical deal, you know? Because show them that you care about them, but you also want to learn from them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm always just refreshed when I
know.
when I leave
Man, this has been good. I feel like I've had this. I needed this
more.
session too on a Friday.
We should schedule these more.
I
We
know.
should.
Without
I
the
know.
cameras and the microphones and the
Y'all, it's
substitute.
I'll share this with you guys. I just came from a slew of meetings, and I just started with the organization that I'm with, Florida Blue, and have been with them for about 10 months now, not 10 years, 10 months now.
Gosh,
and
that flew.
Yeah, right? Like
flew
I'm almost
by.
celebrating my 1 year anniversary and had some, in my mind, big presentations when you're new to the team and, trying to understand the dynamics of all of that. And, I get so intense of planning for these things, right? Because you want to say the right thing at the right time. And I left that meeting. It was two presentations and one meeting back to back. And I just think back to what I've learned through PYP and the relationships that I've had, and to own it when you're there at the table. And there's all levels of people sitting around that virtual call, listening to you.
Yeah.
And it's, I walked away thinking, freaking killed it, I think.
yeah.
At least I'm going to tell myself that.
And we're going to go with it.
Yes.
I love that. Oh, good. Well, congratulations on your almost year anniversary.
Thank
over
you.
there.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can't believe that flew by so fast.
Yeah.
You've just been.
It's been a fun ride and a whole nother side of healthcare. But, just learning so much about the organization and how much Florida Blue GuideWell cares about all the
Exactly,
communities across the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah. So, all right. Well, any final departing words?
Oh my gosh. I think I've said so much already. Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I'll leave it at that. Have fun. Whatever you do, make it fun because life's too short.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If people wanted to reach out, had questions, want to connect with you, can they find you on social? Or are you like, no?
Find me on social or call Meg or either one of you guys. Y'all have my number, my emails, my address, my everything, my DNA.
Yes,
You know,
I have your wedding photos.
yeah, I know. Oh my gosh,
We'll talk about them later.
oh my gosh, I see those wedding photos. Sometimes we have one that's printed out, and this is where I probably shouldn't share this, but the money gun came out.
Yes.
There's like money flying around. So fun. It's sitting in our living room.
I love it. I love it.
It was the best. So much fun.
Your
People talk about it.
your wedding was.
I do have to say that Hong's wedding, Hong and Bobby's wedding, was one of the most fun times I have had in my life.
I agree. I apologize to all of my other brides, but this was you guys shooting your wedding was one of the most fun weddings to shoot too.
And I think it's because, we knew everybody there.
Yeah.
Because you had
You
connected all of us.
Yeah.
created an amazing community around you. And those people, like I showed up at your wedding day and I was like, oh, it's just hanging out with my friends today.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
great. So you've done an amazing job of doing that and also creating that space within PYP that has stayed
you.
true. So really grateful for you and your leadership, past, present, and future.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I
Thanks for coming.
appreciate the both of you guys, and thank y'all. Thank you guys, and all that's been involved in my own journey and my career.
Yeah. Can we have a pump up session like
I
this
know,
like
we gotta
every
take this off
Friday?
That's great.
So Monday morning at like 7:30, we're gonna meet for coffee. Yeah, okay.
Just great.
Vacant.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, you can find us. You can find More Than a Young Professional podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at More Than a YP,
And on YouTube.
and on YouTube. I keep
Well,
I'm looking
but
directly at you.
YouTube
and I
is
can't.
different because it is on our Pensacola Young Professionals YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Well, and
We'll link it.
yeah, everything. Our show notes are changing. Everything's changing. And then you can find me on Instagram at Meg Seberg.
And you can find me on Instagram at MeganNFL. Yeah,
That's it.
that's been great. Thank you, Hong, for joining us. We really appreciated it. And not just because we're friends, but also because I'm very excited for our listeners to take away your little nuggets.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Perfect. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.